We've been stranded in the mangroves for 41 days, desperately trying to get our hands on a crane so we can escape this hell we're living in. It all started as a way to own our dream boat for a fraction of the cost. But then the unforeseen problems started to arise. The crane that was promised showed up and was too small to do the job, so we sent it home without a backup plan, and the dream we were chasing slowly transitioned into surviving a nightmare. We're in Carriacou, a small island in the southern Caribbean that just got wrecked by a hurricane, and it's borderline apocalyptic. No resources, no help, no cranes, just silence. To you, it was just a few episodes, but to us, 41 days of compounding damage, fiberglass settling, water intruding, and all we could do was remain hopeful, continue prepping, and pray for a crane. After a month of silence, our hope started running thin. It seemed like we called everyone in the Caribbean looking for a crane without any luck. But that's when the universe wanted to see what we are really made of. Day 39. I was bedridden with dengue. Fever spiked to 103 degrees. I couldn't move, couldn't eat. I just laid there trembling through the waves of chills and night sweats, questioning everything. Did we just throw our entire life savings in the swamp? Was this ambition or delusion? Even if we do find a crane, will the boat even survive the flip? Could all of this really be for nothing? But on day 41, our prayers were answered. The only glimmer of hope we had seen in a month. We had no clue how long they were going to be here for, or if we could even hire them. But one thing was for certain. This could be our last chance to finally escape these mangroves.
Well, guys, Ruff has been sick for the last 3 days. He caught dengue, which is a mosquito-borne virus. I'm gonna go have to wake him up and see if he has the energy to see if we can get our boat flipped.
I feel like poo. My head was pounding and my body was aching, but I was not about to let this opportunity pass us. This crane was way bigger than the first one, but there were still a lot of unknowns, like can it even fit back in the mangroves and can we convince them to do the job? Obviously, there was only one way to find out, but first we had to find them, and we got word that they were already back in the mangroves scouting another job. Well, I never thought we'd see the day, man.
No. Mrs. Lawrence. Yeah.
Hi, Raphael.
Sasha. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that one flipped over there.
Yeah.
We had a crane come down from Martinique, but it was really small. They wanted to drag it, and we were wondering if your crane is going to be strong enough to pick it straight up.
Where's the weight there?
It's 15 ton. There's no engines, all the water tanks are drained. You can come check it out if you want.
Yeah.
We headed over to the boat, and what followed was a tense hour of sizing up the scene. We checked depths to see if their crane could get close enough and took measurements to see how far the boom would have to span to reach the lifting point. Apparently, the weight of our boat was flirting with the maximum lifting capabilities of their crane, so their initial plan was to drag it in the water and roll it over like the last crane wanted to do. I guess it was just hard for them to imagine that the inside of this boat was pristine and perfectly dry, so we painted the picture and made it clear that this had to be flipped on land because if they sank it, it would cost us thousands in repair damages and months of labor. But to our relief, they said they would give it a try tomorrow at high tide, which was around noon. But the confidence they displayed wasn't very comforting.
They're gonna have to lift you,
Yeah,
but you're gonna have to rest her on one hull.
exactly.
Right. So then lift her up slowly, but she's gonna pivot on the roof.
I know, that's the scary part.
Well, I don't think you have much choice.
Yeah.
But you are gonna get some damage.
Where?
It could be on the top there.
On the roof.
Yeah, right now there's no damage. I've been all through it with the bulkheads.
So we're like, if it can stay that way.
Yeah, no, there's not.
What
Like,
we'll try to do minimal
there's no
damage.
cracks.
But there will be damage.
Yeah.
So
Fuck, man. The guy that sold it to us was confident he could flip it without any damage.
just don't even, if you think you're gonna get away with this without any damage, you have high expectations.
Yeah. But you would never get a badge with a crane capacity to come in.
Yeah, if you lose this opportunity,
Yeah.
you're fucked.
It is 6 a.m. and the crane is about to head back into the mangroves. We're going back at around 7:45. So we're eating some breakfast and getting everything we need packed up to get this boat flipped. But Raf is still extremely sick with dengue. He's been fighting a fever the last couple days. Aww. You check your temperature?
Hello.
Let's check your temperature. You just took some Dayquil, so we're hoping it's kicking in. You're not that warm, or you're not as warm as you were 30 minutes ago. Better?
It's going down a little.
Let's see. Right, just a little bit. Hopefully that means you're kicking it. Are you ready?
No.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I want to be.
You want to be?
Let's go.
Here we go!
This was a very nerve-wracking morning for us, and one we had been waiting for 41 days. Of course, we were excited and hopeful, but that was more of a defense mechanism to mask the nerves and anxiety we also felt, because none of this was guaranteed. The crane was set to arrive at high tide, so we were heading out one last time to make sure the boat was prepped. We needed to disconnect some more rigging, take one last final look around the inside, and secure anything that could turn into a projectile and cause more damage during this flip.
This is the last day, the last morning that this boat is gonna be upside down.
Let's hope.
Like, yeah, let's hope. Okay. I guess we can't celebrate too early. Learn that with
Still
a couple
not
of
sure
fish.
about the size of this crane. Still a lot that can go wrong.
Yeah.
As you can see, there's no cracks in the acrylic. There was no stress on the hard top, but the crane drivers don't seem too confident that it's gonna stay that way. They think it might put a lot of stress on that, especially when we tilt it over. So we're gonna try to do what we can to prevent the damage.
Yeah. We're gonna put some tires right here, a bunch of tires, so that way the hull is gonna rest on the tires while they can lift it and then eventually ride it here over in the water. So at least that's the plan. Okay, let's unload.
We started unpacking and even brought the steering wheel that we were given from someone in the yard so we could steer the boat out of here when we go to tow it.
Well, just walked inside and this was not expected. There's a whole bunch of water. I think it's fresh water though. Let's see. Nope, that's salt water. Well, that's not good. That means that it's gotta be seeping in from somewhere. This is a significant amount of water. So, I guess all I can do is vacuum it all out and see what we get back in here and hope that not too much more comes in because we'd really, really, really like to keep that part of the boat dry. After a few hours of prepping the boat, you could tell that the medicine Raf took earlier was starting to wear off and the dengue was starting to catch up to him. Physically, he was exhausted, and mentally, he wasn't all there. Doors off, doors out. Need to vacuum a little bit more right in here. And then get everything off. Do anything with the rigging?
Wait, what?
Do we have to do anything with the rigging? Okay, so when the boat rolls over onto the tires, Well, also they might be hanging it in the water when they flip it. We are going to spray some foam in these exhaust hose so that way no water comes back into the boat, and any other through holes that are open or could let water into the boat on this side of the hull. Everything's backwards right now.
As we sealed up the last few remaining holes on the boat, we got a call saying the crane was already on its way. The first hurdle was getting it back here. There was a shallow mud bank in the corner that prevented us from getting our sailboat through, but these big barges don't have a keel and typically have pretty shallow draft. Despite it being high tide, the crane got hung up for a while and we didn't think it was going to make it. But luckily this crew wasn't playing any games and forced itself through the mud to get past the corner and head towards the back of the mangroves where our boat lied.
Hey, it looks like they made it through. And the thing is, that spot there where he just got stuck was where all the pileup was with the boats. So there's masts, there's rigging, there's lines. Who knows what's on the bottom there at this point. So it really could be anything that they're wrapped around their prop. So the nerves are starting to kick in. I was so excited this morning because it's flip day. The barge got stuck, they made it. One obstacle is overcome.
Now we gotta roll the boat.
We gotta roll the boat. I think it's pretty serious.
It is all coming together. We got lift bags going down, we're putting plywood down. These lift bags aren't meant for what we're about to use them for, but the problem is they're thin and they can get popped on the mangroves. So we're putting plywood down and then we're putting the lift bags on top of that plywood. And then we're gonna roll the entire boat onto the lift bags and get it vertical and then pick it up, set it in the water, and I think pull the bottom out with dinghies. There's still so much risk involved right now. We're worried about the hard top. And when the boat rolls, it's gonna have a lot of pressure on that corner for a little bit, and it could crack the acrylic, could shift the whole structure of the boat. So right now we're just hoping and praying. Just took some more meds, so I'm trying to power through it. But we are excited to see this thing getting done.
Hopefully in one piece.
The crane crew tossed a compressor line over from the boat and they started inflating the float bags. All the meanwhile, everyone was discussing strategy and going over a game plan so that everyone would be on the same page.
So right now we have all these lift bags. When the boat rolls, this is gonna be on the pressure rather than having it on the salon here. So we're trying to keep the pressure off the salon and the bag should catch the whole side. I don't know, it's a tough one because the crane can't extend far enough to reach with the weight of the boat, so we're doing what we can to make it work. But also, just in case, we have to take the rudder off. So Mateo's up in the engine room right now undoing the rudder post, just as a precaution so we don't break it while it's getting rolled. It's warm in there, isn't it? He's busy. Excited to see this boat flip?
Yeah.
I think everyone is. Man, I was so excited this morning and now I'm like, reality's starting to set in and it's like listening to these guys talk about strategy and plan and trying to figure out what to do. Man, the nerves are really starting to sink in because now I see all the things Raf was saying, like this could go wrong, that could go wrong, and the reality's kind of starting to sink in. It's a pretty big investment to put all liability on you with no coverage. So they're about to get the rudder out. The guys have the straps on one of the hulls. They're repositioning the boat right now, the barge. And I guess this thing is gonna go down in the next 30 minutes. Counting down the minutes at this point. Yep, the nerves are kicking in hard. My stomach's starting to get a little bit heavy. How are you feeling? Aside from not good.
Anxious, I would say. I do want the boat flipped. Just want it to be done right, that's all.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're going such a big moment for us, like we need to be filming this shit. And I'm just like, don't film me.
Okay, so the orientation has completely changed. They turned the boat around. Not sure how this is gonna work out because it doesn't look like there's enough room on this side to put the boat in the water. So maybe they're bringing it to the other side now because they've already anchored the barge and they can't hold the boat and take those anchors up. The crane does all that. So I guess we just gotta trust the process, but I hope the process is the right process.
Yeah, they'll come around the bow, but they gotta flip the boat this way first, and I don't know if they do, if they got the room on the side.
Yeah.
Bring the crane over there. Choco! Woohoo!
So right now the guys are strapping it up. The guys are putting the straps here under the front pontoon, those big orange straps. So it'll be wrapped around here, which will go up to the crane, and then they have another one around the transom of that pontoon, and they're pretty much just gonna lift the boat like this. But one of the problems is, and I'm sure they've thought about it, and these straps might actually be fine, but when you put that much weight on, it's stuck. Wait. So on the corner right here, there's potential when the boat gets lifted, there's a lot of pressure on that lip right there. So there's a chance it could crack. So hopefully the straps are wide enough to distribute the load, prevent that from happening. But there's a lot of weight here. The only weight really at this point is the generator here in the front. So, and the anchor chain. Couldn't get an anchor chain out. There's a lot of different strategies that have been going around, but hopefully with everybody's knowledge, we can get this thing flipped safely.
After hours of setbacks and second guesses, this was it. It was finally time to flip this boat. The operator started to slowly ease pressure on the line, and that's when the creaking started. All we could do was hold our breath. As the boat began to lift, it became harder to watch, every noise sending a jolt of anxiety running through our chest.
What the fuck? What's he doing? You just dropped it. The angle of the rope. Okay.
Unfortunately, after hours of preparation and all that work, the crane wasn't strong enough to lift our boat, and we are now back to square one, stranded in the mangroves. Well, the last 5 days have been insane. Well, not really insane, kind of like heartbreaking, but today's a new day. What I'm about to tell you is hands down the craziest thing that we have ever done, the biggest risk we've ever taken.
By far.
By far. But first, I don't think we've done much vlogging since that crane couldn't lift our boat.
So just to fill you guys in a little bit, we came back to the boat, heartbroken, just
Down and out.
Yeah.
Like, back to square one. It was a tough pill to swallow. But on a positive note, we got some crazy news. Well, for one, my dengue fever broke yesterday. I feel a lot better. 2, we talked to the crane company today. They called us, so we went over to the crane and discussed a plan, and they're pretty confident that they have figured out another way where they can flip our boat. So we are gonna try to attempt to flip the boat tomorrow. Now we've got this crazy idea, and when we first thought of this idea, which I'm about to share with you, it was so crazy we kind of laughed at it, but then it turned into so crazy that it just might work.
Yeah, I thought this guy was actually losing his mind.
Listen, hear us out. This is real. This is happening. So you guys know that we bought this boat with a loan, and 2, we spent the rest of our savings, everything we had, on this catamaran that we can't flip over. Yeah. So our plan the whole time was, if we get the catamaran, that we're gonna have to sell this boat, the monohull, to afford the catamaran. Well, what if there was a way, instead of selling it, to get the money and then someone win this boat for like 50 bucks or something? So yeah, we've decided we're gonna host a giveaway, and one of you is gonna win this boat. That's crazy. That's crazy. Like, it's a massive risk for us, because if we only raise $10,000, then we still have to give this boat away. Woo! Anyways, yes, this is real. We're not stuttering, we're not messing with you. Someone's winning this boat. So how did we come to this decision? I feel like we need to switch to the good camera for this. Woo! Holy shit! I can't believe we're doing this.
Yeah, me neither.
So we have to sell this boat to pay for the cat. We know that. The market's terrible right now. It could be on the market for like a year, and we need the money yesterday to start fixing up this catamaran. Not only that, but we've probably invested around $250,000 to $300,000 in this sailboat, fixing it up over the last 2 years, and that doesn't even include our labor. And we would never be able to sell the boat for that amount in this market, which leads us to the giveaway idea. Not only could we potentially raise the money, but we could also change someone's life in the process.
This giveaway is a way for us to pay it forwards and give somebody the jump start that we wish we would have had.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna launch someone into the cruising world. This giveaway is official. We already have a legal team in place. They're working out the fine details right now. So if you're watching this on the episode, that means the giveaway is now on, and we'll put the rest of the details at the end of the episode.
But anyways, back to the storyline. Tomorrow morning, we are going to be heading into the back with the crane guys to go and flip this boat. It's now or never, guys, because if this boat doesn't get flipped, I am going to lose my mind.
It's gonna happen. Tomorrow we are chilling on top of this catamaran in some lawn chairs, cracking some bottles of champagne, watching the sun go down, and we will have escaped this nightmare that we are currently living in. Well guys, the giveaway is official. If you want to support our channel and watch us rebuild this catamaran and have a chance to win Spirit Animal, then scan this QR code or click the link in the description below to go enter the giveaway. It only takes a couple seconds to enter, and when you head over, you'll notice one special tier which gets your name engraved on the catamaran permanently. We're thinking Stanley Cup style on one of the stainless compression posts or burned into the table, but we'll know more once the catamaran's flipped over and the refit begins. Not only that, but our good friends down at Spice Island Marine in Grenada have decided to throw in a free month of boat storage to help the winter out with the transition. That's also where we plan to refit the catamaran, so when we hand over the keys, we'll make sure and give the full tour. The winner will be randomly chosen in the first week of August by our legal team, which means anyone can win. A sailor, a family in search of adventure, someone that was in our shoes 2 years ago and desperately looking for a boat, or even someone who doesn't even want the boat and would just rather sell it and pocket this life-changing amount of money. Either way, we're gonna make someone's dream come true so we can continue ours, and the legacy of our beloved boat will live on. We personally don't know another sailing channel who's done this, so we have no clue what this outcome could be. So I would like to emphasize that if we only raise $5,000, we still have to give this boat away and fix up the catamaran. And this leads us into the perfect time to thank our beloved patrons, because your continued support is the only reason why we all get to watch these videos and our journey lives on. Anyways, join us on the next one to see if we can finally get this catamaran flipped over. Hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and we will see you next time here on Spirit Animal.